And let's bring them out. Of course, you got both teams making their way out together. It's NRG and MIBR.
Big game coming up for sure, but especially for NRG. I mean, MIBR, it's pretty much looking at all the scenarios and possible scenarios. MIBR pretty much has it locked going through, but
They just need to win a map.
exactly. And again, going against NRG, it's very, very doable with the results that we've seen previously of NRG. But you mentioned her, Dan, slow starts coming out from the side of NRG. I like to say, ever since Mike's joined, yes, maybe it was a slow start versus G2, but the first time he showed up as a head coach, they looked actually not bad.
Yeah, I mean, for NRG, they've had some great moments. And again, we talked about Sama and Mata and what they've been able to do with very different roles, right? Sama, the controller, as always, one of the best that we have. And then Mata constantly dropping 30, dropping more than 25 in so many maps, going and running it down with the Neon. But sometimes it just doesn't seem to be enough. Is today going to be different? I mean, they need to get this win.
This is critical for NRG. They know it. You see it on Sam's face there as things are getting ready, listening to one another and what the game plan is going to be here, right? You got so much experience on that NRG team to take you over the finish line. But on the other side, I always talk about Coach Fraud, a legendary esports player in his own right, but more importantly, a championship winning coach who has the tools necessary. Previous seasons wasn't necessarily the case for MIBR. This is it, Van Silly, and they look strong.
I agree. Fraud was basically a champion before a lot of people in the crowd weren't even born yet.
That's true.
So when it comes down to the experience throughout the years of understanding tactical FPS and understanding how they can work the map on default, exactly. Now you add the abilities on top of that. I mean, it's just so easy for Fraud to get cooking with this team.
And he's got the tools to do so. I mean, you literally have the greatest export out of Brazil, Aspas, on your lineup. Without a doubt, you couldn't ask for a better mix-up of players here. But Dryad, are you feeling like this could... Wait a minute, this match is gone! Oh!
And the turtleneck.
And actually, no, the turtle, he's got a little turtleneck thing, Jacob, going on over there. Time to see if facial hair is the difference or not.
Because definitely it wouldn't be the turtleneck.
Because it wouldn't be the I mean, Aspas has proven the turtleneck is actually kind of goated, so...
I think it varies from player to players, you know?
Okay.
Aspas is going to be a natural one.
Do you think you could pop off with a turtleneck on?
I definitely can't pop off with the mustache because I can't grow one.
You had a beard when I came back today. What are you talking about? All right, here's the series leg. Haven, Icebox, and if necessary, Dryad will be taking a trip over to Pearl.
I'm really interested in this Haven map because we haven't seen it for NRG since Kickoff when they played it against Crew and lost 13-10. And also, when that was happening, Verna was still part of the team. Mata was dropping 30 kills, as we just mentioned. So I'm wondering if there are any changes, and if things remain about the same, how much info does Verna have on the other side?
Yeah, if anything, there is a lot of tape, though, for MIBR on this map for Haven, because you mentioned it, it's games that went to distance, 13-11, 11-13, depending on who they play against with. So they got a lot of things that they could work on for the side of NRG that they could counter against the side of MIBR. And even when you mentioned on the side against Cloud9 last week, last week, they almost had a chance for Cloud9 to close this out or even at least push it into overtime. And you needed players like Aspas to just step up and try to get a 2K towards the end to secure that win here for this side of MIBR.
It's completely different. They're playing a double duelist here. Ethan going on the Yoru, Mata is going on the Jet. Before we just talked about how Mata was playing the Neon instead. So something completely new, where the initiator that you have that swap between Verno and Brog is going to be with the solo.
Standard compositions there for MIBR. Nothing too crazy, but very curious to see that Mata versus Aspas matchup and how that plays out in those opening duels, right, Vance?
Definitely going to be a good one. And Aspas playing over the Jet instead of a Whaley, because he mentioned again with the Sentinels podcast, he doesn't like that agent yet, so he's going to stick to his tried and true.
Well, let's send this one over to your casters to get the show on the road. You got two guys who happen to be a big fan of pie. Wink, wink. It's Uber and Wyatt. Oh, what is that?
Is that a euphemism, or like are we actually going to get a pie game today? Why is he winking?
Not.
Why are you?
Surely no one's going to
just going to eat pie.
At a pivotal moment like this.
Yeah.
That would never happen.
No. Well, I mean, it is an NRG game. By the way, I mean, walk with me down this garden path, right? Verno is kicked from NRG for, checks notes, communication issues.
Right.
Goes and joins a full Brazilian lineup and then finds great success. Then comes alive, almost enhances this team from what we saw from them at the start of stage 1. Okay?
And by the way, they've had raving reviews of his communication and the energy that he brings to the team.
Yeah, we feel like he's Mahatma Gandhi out there.
Man. Madness. It's going to be a thrill to see him go up against a squad that he looked so promising with the offseason that NRG had with Verno, and then the failures during Kickoff, now on an MIBR who look like one of the best in Americas.
Still haven't qualified for playoffs yet, Wyatt, and that is why they're here. Already, Arspas has got deep into towards Kid FNS is not ready for it. Sheer pace enough to rip the skin off your bones. Mata does expect this action.
He does not feel comfortable taking that fight just yet, wants to regroup with the rest of the team. Brock does have a recon to throw up when this retake attempt goes in. Ethan with one flash as well, though currently he's just in position for the flank.
But again, trapwire in Ethan's way. There's no way around this. Listen, those old knees, Ethan, won't get you there. Has to clear it. Now Cortazar knows there's a timer. Geez, this is the last player I want to be running into with a pistol round. I'm not going to lie, but Ethan is sharp with it. Arsene low as well. Mata's able to emerge here from Garage and finds his third of the round. Verno tucked. Old Nemesis is approaching him. He can sense it. Has to win the fight here against someone. He does! Ethan will bring him to heel. And the Grizzled veteran has a pretty important couple of kills in that round.
And I'm going to tell you, we're going to need a lot more of that kind of stuff from Ethan as this series progresses, but specifically when he's playing the Yoru right now on Haven. NRG picking into this map, I thought they were going to surely just go back to Mata on the Neon. Last time they played Haven, when he was on that role, he dropped a cool 30 bomb against Crew.
Nice
but
round.
they opted into the double duelist.
Are on point. Let's go.
He's been on point so far, but previously, the other games on Yoru in this stage 1, he's ranking quite low in the hierarchy of Yorus. Low enough that in average damage per round, he's 11 out of 12. He needs to play like EG Ethan. The Ethan that we know is a serious contender on the world stage.
So it could have limboed under that trapwire, you're saying?
Just barely.
Okay. MIBR not the most successful pistol, and yes, as FNS pointed out, the duelists of NRG are the ones that have the impact on the kill feed. It's Mata here for first contact in a decent spot for it. A little bit wayward, maladroit shots, but Som is there to back him up. The high-low swing, it's more than MIBR were prepared to deal with. And FNS was tucked there anyway.
MIBR won't let go for this quick pivot through Garage, but NRG are more than prepared if their intentions of going into this C site are acted upon. The defenders are already set up with the crossfires.
Honestly, with a huge kill, it's a fault line that doesn't connect with Mata, though he's able to take the fight out in the open. Backs up here because Rourke and Som are the second wave. Down to young Verno. Som cleans him up very nicely. Now the controllers are getting involved. NRG, it's a great start on a map we've not seen from them here in stage 1 at all.
Okay, they were able, I think, to recover all the intended weapons. There was a lot of shuffling there from NRG for a second, and I thought they were accidentally just going to keep the Stinger, but they got all of the best weapons out of what was a very clean round. They understood that MIBR were eventually going to execute into that C split. They shut it down. He's already had 3 players rotated back site, so as clean of a start as you could really ask for the NRG team, who are in desperate need of a win. Especially after the trouncing that they were the victims of against G2 last week. Probably the most decisive game that we've seen all of stage 1 so far.
And I expected them to pick Lotus in this series, but maybe that's why. It was such an abysmal showing for the Mata though. Always the Crypt to succeed. That smoke there in lobby lets him get up there for free.
Does he have intentions of sticking around? He does, because that dark cover was placed in addition to the Cloudburst. He's doubled up with Som at the moment in Sewer. What a start to the bonus round for NRG. They have a real chance to capture early momentum. C-Long controlled by Finesse as well. This has got MIBR in a tough position as we enter the mid-round.
Another great start for Som. Coming into this game with the highest ACS of any controller player in Americas. The shining light for this NRG star for so many of these games. Remember, they're not out of the contention for playoffs either. It's just a much rockier climb for them.
Look at this energy. They are in no way convinced they need to leave this A site. A lot to do with Finesse. He's got the cam watching in towards the site, just peeking back and forth, making sure that no one is walking up on him in the corner, and hopefully
30
he
seconds
can catch
left.
the right timing for his sake. And yeah, that is Verno.
Cage triggered.
Time for the leader here to step up and find his one.
That's all he needed.
I know,
he only needed one. I got scared. I got scared, but he got it. He got it. He got it.
We're not reliving that fracture moment there at Tree. That's fine. Okay, MIBR get the spike down here. NRG. Again, distributed north and south here, 2 and 2. Shannom's able to catch Som out. That's a huge pick here for this retake scenario. Harder now for NRG to break their way in. Got a bit of this util. Brock still carrying most of those abilities.
It does have that recon going to go through with the flash.
Big flash. Cortese had no chance to respond on that. MIBR forced into pure post plant here from Long. With the TP across from Shannon, but I think he was heard. Mara gets an easy one. And then Aspas cannot fight his way out of Cubby. Nicely done from NRG. Methodical. Could have been interrupted there as FNS only went 1 for 1. But a nice completion. 3 Vandals maintained.
That was nicely done from Mata, just adding a few additional seconds of wait time to that reflank into C-Long. He got that perfect window where Shannon really believed no one was actually going to be pushing him again from that angle. Good effort from him to get that initial kill, that peak that we had just seen, but not enough. Bonus round converted for NRG, up 3-0. Economy in fantastic standing.
Exactly the kind of start that you're looking for. And some really fun old rivalries in this game as well. As Brock and Verno were the standout initiator players in challenges coming into this year. And often rivals in that sort of MXS Oxygen matchup we got to see play out a fair bit. These guys know each other quite well.
They've gone back and forth plenty of times over the past couple years. Look at this double setup with Mata taking point, taking the contact, and going to dash away. And when the rest of MIBR go in, they will never expect Som to be top left.
And that's Link smoked out behind NRG, and it looks like Brock has walked in past it. Although Garage a little lightly held here. No chance for FNS to play off this trap wire whatsoever, so that's going to be cleared essentially for free. We do have a light on the spike cam, and FNS wants to reassume this position, but by the time he does, MIBR might be long gone.
So they've gotten the site control for free. A moment, oh my god, awkward fight being taken, but Mata does convert the first. This should make this 5v4 retake quite easy. Ethan is going to be on the flank as well. There's no trip to cover it. Cortesia is down.
And there's a boatload of util to play with here. Flashes galore. Som really can cover this site with this controller util as well.
Man, they are taking their time, waiting for Ethan, expecting a potential repush. Didn't actually come, but they've got enough time now to go for the full retake. Finesse adds a second to the tally.
Love that from FNS. He has a crack from backside and is able to find his second kill. He's picking them apart here, even through that dark cover. Takes a step out, eventually will fall, but honestly, pretty clean behind the ears of NRG been so far. That's MIBR down to a half by. But 4 rounds in the pocket on defense here on Haven. It's a dream start.
That was patient, calculated, lovely stuff from NRG here early on. Their economy beginning to build even further. I mean, at this point, they can't even build much more. They're damn near on cap. And so now, at any point in the game too, MIBR...
Aspas drunk or what? I see him CT spawn looking.
I don't think he's had any libations just yet. Probably saving that for after the win.
I don't think that's his style at all.
He doesn't really seem like a... He doesn't seem like the player that I'd find at the club, honestly.
Yeah, I know. And that happens off camera, so we don't see those kills come in from FNS, but he's able to peek into backside and find 2. So it might just be that Aspas is a little bit slow on the uptake there. He's probably holding a Sheriff in around like that. Maybe a Guardian. FNS being able to peer in and get a bit of an ego boost there, able to find those 2 kills. It's a 4-0 game so far. And honestly, NRG have been pretty slow, right? They had their double stack on their high ground inside the B site, able to fold off and play a full retake on C with really limited issues. They didn't feel the need to get overzealous about controlling the garage space. They weren't taking early fights against this, you know, weird buy with pistols and stingers mixed in. Honestly, just pretty textbook.
At some point here, MIBR are going to have to be concerned that NRG could bring an AWP into the mix at any given point. They have more than enough money to do it. Actually, right now, they're bringing in Odin in the hands of Brock. This is one of the maps where you can fall victim to some obnoxious spam angles when you're on attack, when you're trying to get into sewer, when you're trying to get into garage. But NRG, yeah, regardless, yeah, NRG, they've done a fantastic job controlling the map with this Yoru. Ethan has been pushing up for free on A multiple times. He's going to do it again at the opening of this round. And it's allowing NRG to stack up towards C at 3, basically 4 players in the vicinity if this hit comes in.
FNS knows he has to clear the stealth drone there and can't quite see it. But he found it. Cybercade's going to slow MIBR up here. Now, they haven't made some inroads in that garage direction, but Cortesia hasn't really been that player that we've seen so far this stage. He's been quiet, 0-4. Not the headshot dispenser we're used to seeing. And would you like an invitation to the Broctagon, Cortesia?
by the way. Ethan just got his second gate crash, thrown all the way back into A site now, and the rest of NRG, they are just still stacked up exactly where MIBR are at. They have no reason to adjust their positions.
Feels like they've had advanced notice on all of this so far this game. Passive angle lead for FNS, but a cloudburst is going to allow MIBR to cross to the site. Ethan, though, he sees it all. Flash for disruption here. Maybe emerge at the back of the site from that dimensional drift now. He appears, and Aspas just ceases to exist. A clone out here. Cortezea just takes the clone and flashed as a result. What are we watching here? NRG came to play, folks. Inferno
Fighting back.
has to against his old team, and it's going to be a tough climb from here. On the side they are. Artisan's able to find Brock. It is the Bladestorm that claims the breach, and now it's up to Verno. 1 versus 2. Dealing with the Jet ult. He's gotten himself one and some util, perhaps. Som knows he's got to leave the spike.
Does get it to half at the very least.
And there's still time. Som can get this done. He goes for a full stick, but Verno knows it. 4 kills. Gets the old team. And you can't tell me that didn't feel good.
No better way for MIBR to get on the board than Verno to clutch that out after Ethan did all of this good work, collecting all of that information after controlling A long for the first half of that round, allowing NRG to be stacked up at the right sites, comes in, collects 2, and it's not enough. What a clutch to get MIBR rolling.
Such a subdued celebration there for Verno. He's got to know that there's a heck of a lot more of those moments required. Already a bit of a deficit to make up on this attack side for MIBR. Okay, we're running headlong into each other now, apparently. Mata traded out, given Artisan takes a ton of damage. It's Verno that found the warbang kill, and someone wants to commit to this. NRG are hungry for the fights, and he and FNS double up for 2. Verno always seems to be there, the Wyatt always seems to be present.
The confidence!
Jeez, Brock has had to push quickly onto the side. He doesn't want to get caught outside of it, but that cyber cage is going to come down, and he'll have to deliver. Creeping up, 2 players. Good, and it's Cortezea getting into the game. But once again, is this man leaning the way for his new team?
He knew he was about to get lit up by that neural theft and just stood ready to take that duel as soon as the dark cover dropped. Serious confidence exuding from Verno at the moment. Stepping up back-to-back rounds. 4K into 3K. They still haven't been able to put a lid on this NRG economy. It got so out of control from winning the bonus round that they can just keep buying and buying and buying. It's still such an uphill climb for MIBR. They've gotten up those first steps.
Cortezea with his first kill of the map. Up until this point, actually beating out Aspas in terms of ACS on this team. Had a quite a game in comparison so far. Here's a Rolling Thunder hitting on towards this ace site now. It's still going to unseat things a little bit for Brock, but the backup's there. Artisan and Verno once again are in position. And it's Som who could only guess as to where MIBR are set up, and he does not find purchase.
Oh, had a chance for the trip going off, but the player wasn't illuminated just yet. 3 on 4 NRG with Mata on this flank. You know, he could try to updraft over this if he intends on doing so, or do they?
I think they're just done.
Opt for the save.
Yeah, these last couple of rounds have been pretty just draining on that economy that NRG built up, going 4-0 initially in this game. Now it looks like they'd rather let things go. On the horizon as well, yeah, another ultimate for Verno. It feels like it was only a couple rounds since we last saw that. Since then, he got 7 or 8 kills. That's not an exaggeration either. He popped off.
They're going to have an opportunity now, MIBR, to really get the snowball going if they can get an orb into his hands on this next round. Mata just wants to deal some damage. He does have a fair amount of money still. I mean, I think, honestly, NRG had enough cash that they could have tried to prod at that a little bit, but they're going to play it quite safe in this instance.
Good tuck here for Ethan.
Yeah, just couldn't get out in time. That was a fast trade from Artisan, the IGL for MIBR.
Did he have a gate crash set up there?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He was trying to get out. Yeah, he just didn't.
Yeah, it could have been a
teleport off in time. He was mid-air hitting the button, but just wasn't out in time.
This goes here.
It could have been a big difference maker in such a round. Still, Rolling Thunder gets MIBR what they were looking for. And like I said, they're about to cycle into another Initiator ultimate because Verno is 12-4.
MIBR, they go for that early stun over towards A long, but they're still just typically not opting to actually pressure that side of the map. They're putting way more emphasis towards garage, towards B, and well, I mean, Aspas, he tried to go in fast. He wanted to get the dash up draft to gain space. Got held able to do so.
Okay, Pearson TP'd onto the top box here inside his own smoke. Now chooses to emerge, but they were waiting for him. Mata, though, sharp as attack. Was able to deal with both Artazine and Aspas. We still have the issue, though, of the defuse that has to occur. 3 up here for MIBR. And Verno is ranging far and wide. He's found Ethan. And now can shore things up, keeping an eye on B from Min. Shenum's anchored here. And he's had a slow start, too, but that was so crucial.
Now it's all on Mata. Time has dwindled significantly. Making footsteps, he's making sound. He knows that he has no chance but to save the weapon. Shenum has stabilized things for MIBR. Backside with some excellent movement in that 1 versus 2. Finding both kills in lovely fashion. MIBR had gotten right back into the game, putting NRG in an uncomfortable position. Mata trying to dodge the salvos. Okay, he will barely survive.
And just like that, the game is even. 4 rounds in a row for MIBR, answering a red-hot start from NRG. At this point, you've got to be calling a timeout, right? There's an opportunity here to confer, get your boy Mike's in their ears. These last couple of rounds, we've seen MIBR maintain that same meticulousness early in these rounds. And the openers have been pretty superb.
At that time, they just sent that early util A and slammed B. They just had a great post-plant setup, and you really have to give credit to Shenum backside, who has been silent up until that moment, but that 2-piece was lovely. The second kill onto Finesse, just skating around. Backside Gong, just little sidestep to the right, swings back in for that clean second duel. That was well played. As we get out of the timeout here, you know, I'm still looking to see if at some point NRG are going to try to bring in the AWP. It hasn't happened yet. And that is something that I feel they could get a lot of value with this comp. It's sort of akin to what we've been seeing Cloud9 do with the AWP on Pearl when they've been running that Jet Yoru, how you can control the map so easily with one of your duelists having that weapon stacking up elsewhere. And to be fair, they've been getting away with it a bit because Ethan has been able to get free space in A long on the majority of these rounds, but you can really further extend that when you have the operator, and they've had good enough cash. Regardless though, I think the main point in this round going in is just looking at these ultimates. NRG going to be putting emphasis on those. Ethan has the Dimensional Drift. Brock has the Hunter's Fury. I'm expecting to see a Yoru running around, pinging players on the ground, and then the lasers being shot at them by the Sova.
Yep.
The classic 1-2.
And last time we saw Ethan with the Dimensional Drift, he was on the B side. Went Gong, popped out, got a kill instantly. So he's more than happy to get active. This time, of course, he'll be tucked close A, take first contact, look to try and gate crash out, gets the kill! And that is exactly perfect. That's what you're looking for from your Yoru in those early defensive exchanges. He also had regen shield, so that's back to 25, and Mata does the same. The duelists are getting busy.
They've both just been taking advantage of the fact that they have the get out of jail free cards, playing in off angles, taking those early duels, willing to engage with the enemies and knowing that they can escape. It's just exactly what they want to do with this comp, and you're doing this on a day where Ethan is starting off hot in the server. That is crucially important.
Here's that Hunter's Fury now. Brock just want to make it impossible for MIBR to have a plan. Look at this! MIBR have taken 3 kills and just playing away from any opportunity to trade. Not one of those kills is tradable.
Out of the timeout, Mike really gave them the win your 1v1 strat.
30
great
seconds
call,
left.
great call by the coach. It worked.
I mean, in
both
fairness,
of them winning their duels, Ethan and Mata, now just closing the vice grip on MIBR, who really have no hope of getting this spike down.
On cooldown.
they've been just picked apart this round, and they've barely seen where their assailants are.
Yeah, NRG, they'll allow them to get the spike down and then simply kill everyone after. Well, okay, hold on. I was heavy sweating for a second, but no, that's okay. We'll give you a nice little consolation gift, and then we will clean you up with these.
And we've seen this composition pop up not only on this map, but also on Pearl, right? Cloud9 are also running that Jet Yoru style. Again, on defense, you take your pick, safely get off the angle, ideally take a kill with you. It's a really safe way for NRG to play pretty far forward at the start of these rounds without being punished for it. It's all about the timing of that gate crash, though. Maybe you feel like MIBR could start trying to play around the timing of that expiring. It's only, what, 30 seconds?
Oh my god, bro. I'm nice right now.
15 and 3?
Yep, 15-3.
I mean, the Haven just seems to be his map, if we're being honest. That being said, he's had a lot of maps where Mata's looked pretty insane this year. If you're going to give him his just due, Ethan is more than willing and happy again to just play forward.
And now it's conditioned. You have to use a piece of util on that spot every other attack round.
NRG have already rotated
right there
players to A, by the way.
Yeah, you don't want to play retake on this side.
Man, they are so tuned into what MIBR are going to do.
It's dangerous to anchor against the Armageddon though, Wyatt. It could be risky. Aspas has already gotten himself into hell. Mata's going to have to move here, and he just inches back away from it. So Armageddon doesn't really get any value. Paverno knows a little special delivery in this corner could definitely have stunning impact. And NRG pulling away.
That triple player stack looked like it really just got dismantled by one great flash from Artson and then the dash through the cloudburst from Aspas back site. And the standard stuff to get into the A site when you have the jet breach. NRG seems to just be fully caught and blinded up. I think forced out of the way maybe by the fault line. We'll have to see on the replay, but it was nothing out of the ordinary.
And this is what it's like to play on the A side as a defender. If you can't get ahead of the plant, you get forced out of the side by Armageddon in this case, and also being down by 2 players. It's a 3-gun save, more often than not. Nicely hit there for MIBR, and again, we're looking for that little bit of pace from them at the start of the round to get an edge.
Yeah, I think they're finding a lot of success, just straight up accelerating and hitting sites, trying to re-clear things in the mid-round and play too slowly, contacting around the map into a double duelist when your only tool for reconnaissance is the stealth drone. That's just not enough. But yeah, it's just the salvos into the flash. Yeah, salvos into the flash, dash out the cloudburst. Standard stuff to get into A. NRG was really caught off by it, even though they had the read. They had the right amount of players stacked there to try and nullify that hit.
It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. Not against a team like NRG who've turned up today. 5 defense side rounds on the board. Mata firing just like his last outing on this map where he dropped 30.
I must wait a moment.
It was Kickoff for those keeping track at home.
Stealth drone going to clear out front sight, so Aspas can try and gain some space. Look at this again, NRG. They have rotated so fast. They have 3 players back site.
They've got to back Aspas
contend.
up. He gets paranoid here, Wyatt. It's all about backing the duelist here. Ethan's dimensional drift is going to allow him to wrap very, very far behind the setup for MIBR. They've got to be aware of it. Aspas now looks for a timing, makes a swing on FNS counts. There's an out drone coming in over the top right now, and Ethan also is starting to pressure from C long. MIBR have to batten hatches, and Kodose has gone down. It's a blade sword now being drawn forward from Aspas, but it's only 1 for him, and it's on down to Genom. 33 health and a dream. He's got to be ready for a swing on his left, and it comes on in. Mata secures a 6 for NRG.
I mean, NRG, they realize that they are just, if they make noise somewhere, they're hitting that site, and they are flooding in straight away to fight together. Juxtaposed to the last round, they all got backside, but this time they actually won out the duels. And it helps too when you have Ethan just sprinting behind MIBR in the dimensional drift, getting that flank off way earlier than he typically would be able to.
Yeah, there were players from MIBR at garage door watching that flank angle, but of course he defeats it entirely by being invisible.
This has been a very straight up, honest half of Valorant.
Okay,
just
you know what?
Hit the sites and run in and defend them.
After that last series, I could use a cleanse. Absolutely banged out by Genom there.
Rare that that's been the case. He's usually been the one finding those first bloods up until that point.
And that plan of get a safe defense side kill and fall back now is starting to crumble here for NRG.
It looks like they want to try and re-clear mid, get some information. Brock gets a one-way to play off of it. Short, and Cortezia takes his time, getting down lower, gets the neural theft. All that information into the tripwire. This is dangerous right now.
The anti-jet trips are up, but Arzine gets hammered, hit with the paranoia and couldn't do anything about it. Mata's low, but FNS is here. He's hit by the paranoia as well. Aspas saw everything behind the boxes, but doubles back. Mata on the corner, sees his elbow, and Verner's able to clean him up there with the salvos. Straightforward stuff here for MIBR. No nonsense Valorant. And it's an even game after 12 rounds.
That is true. That was a meat and potatoes half of honest to God Valorant gameplay. Mata and Ethan stepping up. I mean, look at this. It is just 2 of the best that we have had in America's Challengers that have been called up. 2 rookies this year that are topping the board for either side. You have Mata sitting at a cool 16-4. Verno 15-6. They were rivals and challengers, briefly teammates at the beginning of this year, and they're back to being rivals.
All right, getting what we asked for from this map, one we haven't seen from NRG for quite some time, but they are giving as good as they get, folks. Stick around. More to come from Haven, our first map of this last series of the week, after the break.
It's for you. Do you like it? Come on, Charlie. Use your new door. Come on, let's go. I said go. Let's go. Silly dog. I'm going to trade you for a cat. Red Bull gives you wings.
The new Red Bull Zero is here. 100% wings with monk fruit extract.
We're deadlocked after a lively first heart of Haven action here in this match between NRG and MIBR. Marta leading the way for NRG, and Verno against his old teammates, turning up 15 for 6. Showing maybe there's a bit of acrimony here in this reunion with some of his former compatriots. But he's been cool, calm, and collected, and he stood up where, honestly, the normal stalwarts for this MIBR team have been a little quiet.
The entire team was down and out. They had lost the anti-bonus. They were down 0-4. Verno brought them back into it with that 1 versus 4 clutch. And now to start the second half, they want to go for an aggressive look down mid. Aspas claims that second to get his team the man advantage.
Bro, he did not want to leave. His teammates were like, yo, get out. Nice work, though. 2 NRG players handled. Verno's probably seen more than enough there as players cross it into a lobby and then back out with the insertion of Marta, just in case it was a re-peek. And now what's the plan? Back to C?
At this point for MIBR, they can take things nice and slow. Play for that 4 versus 3 retake. They're just grouped up, stacked towards A with Cortesia on the passive. Look B.
All right. Can we see this potential Rookie of the Year candidate thwart this NRG pivot to the B side of the map? He scared him off. They headed him garage instead.
When you have that Tejo breach, you have a lot more util for a retake like this on a pistol round than you normally would with other comps. They have great tools here to use. The fault line just came back up for Artzin. You have the salvos for Verno. Looking good for MIBR right now.
Antonis is ahead of it here. Quick course correction for Aspas, keeps him safe, and then Som dives deep. MIBR overwhelm NRG. It's down to Mata. 44 points of health. And yeah, he hears a pitter-patter, a little feet getting out of that C site, and he realizes he is severely outnumbered. Aspas waits for him, takes his second, and gets MIBR, that crucial pistol.
Yeah, Amada wanted to take a timing there, but it ends up looking a little bit foolish when he's the last one left, slowly working his way back into that 1 versus 4. And it all just started off with MIBR running an aggressive pistol round strat on defense. And I do want to take a mental note of the fact that on attack too, they ran a pretty cheeky strat where they had that wrap all the way through B, split C from 3 angles. So they are clearly coming into this game with some cooked up set pistol strats to try and throw NRG off.
NRG pushed and pulled them a lot around the map and ended up at C, whilst all of MIBR was still grouped in B-Link.
Right, early stealth turn is going to come out from MIBR towards long. FNS is having a fun time shooting at as the rest of the team try and work their way through garage. Standard trip going to need to be broken. Oscar on the time with the outlaw, but
Damage done. Som very low. Ethan also chunked.
Like saved by the clone, honestly, took the brunt of the damage.
Aspas has to just huddle here. Cloud bursts off that recon, and Ethan, apropos of nothing as far as I can tell. Headshot by Aspas as he tries to step up onto C. This really is going to force NRG to put the brakes on, as they only have a share of 2 classics now. Som, ever the patient one. Zen-like trance as he sits here in window, waiting for someone to give him an opportunity. It's unlikely to come.
Mata is one player on NRG with an upgrade. It actually did bring him down to sub 1k credits, which could end up mattering against this Outlaw if it's carried over into the next round, and it should be.
I mean, FNS can only shoulder peek so many times. He has to
30 seconds
try and generate something there for NRG. Not sure what it was supposed to be, having a classic against a Outlaw. But A for effort. Here's Verno. And he'll be chilling. May not expect the second player to be so quick on the heels of Mata. He'll know about it now as the salvo here will deny a plant. Som has 10 seconds to get it down, and Verno comes out of nowhere. Great reactions from Som, but his position very obvious. Cortazea pats the stats a little.
And now bear in mind as MIBR are taking the lead here after starting down 0-4, by the way. Just one map win will guarantee them a spot in the playoffs, but obviously past that, winning every match is important for getting the champions points. That plays out later in the year as the 4 best teams in the region try to qualify for that tournament. So every match has a lot of weight to it regardless, but this map specifically for MIBR.
Stage 1 has a lot of weight when we start to look towards the end of the year. It's not just about Toronto. This is a very competitive league. In this group, to be fair, hyper-competitive.
And so Mata has got his full armor, but it's resulted in Som only having a Guardian at the moment. Cortazea going to feel the pressure flashed up, Recon comes in, and he knows that he just has to retreat, play for this full retake right now.
Now, MIBR are not going to have the option to wrap there via C-Long for quite some time, if at all. They're just not in position for it.
Now they're going to be waiting for Aspas as well to rotate all the way over. He was playing deep in A-Long. Celtron going to get some information. Backside for Verno.
This util is getting a little bit thin for MIBR. They've got to actually do something with it.
Or at least get back in backside, but they just haven't found an actual timing window to do it. Som's playing in the dark cover. Wow, they have snipped him out. He is in serious trouble.
He takes a little bit of damage. There's nothing to write home about now, but here come MIBR. Flood into the back of the side. It's already a ghost fighting purchase as Som. His head rolls. Beautiful stuff. Verno just steps up, takes the fight, and Mata has to make use of the recon there. What a bonus for MIBR. Such an unlikely scenario. And Cortazea gets to finish the job.
They just all swing out together. Every single player on NRG was trying to spam, and how could you blame them? They had the better weapons. They had the recon coming through into that dark cover. Credit to MIBR for expending all their util to get Som out of the dark cover, while the rest of this team just hung him out to dry. Mata does the best that he can, but it's MIBR just swinging together, all 3 of them. And
sick flood.
Cortazea hyped up for good reason. Like you said, came into this game as the highest average ACS player on MIBR. Crazy to think about. A rookie debut year, and you've got the GOAT Aspas on your team. He's just been that good. He hasn't had a lot of time to, at least in this game, find his moments, but he steps up when necessary.
Mata gets a fight taken out of him there, and Shenham holds the line. He drops down. Slightly expected angle, and this time it's a completion on the kill. And that's rough for NRG. I mean, MIBR showing they can take these frags and fall off the lines just as easily. It's only Stingers here for NRG, and they've got a contact into so much of the map.
Vanessa's trying his best to get some space towards Sewer, does put the cam there, so passive info gain will be aware if anyone from MIBR are pushing all the way out of A.
Are they going to push through Garage?
Yeah, there were a lot of pings all the way up into the spawn. Fault line coming through now.
They're not going anywhere.
NRG, they are just stuck in this choke. Aspas still with that outlaw towards long as well.
Cortazea actually falls back over to the C site here, so the way through Garage is paved. Artisan gets off the angle. Those things are a little bit scary at this range, and so he tries to call things off here with an aftershock. Shenham just swings out into the fight.
30 seconds.
But the re-pick there for Artisan is good. Verno, again, maintains that composure to deliver MIBR so far a flawless second half.
Oh, they were in complete control of that round. A lot of credit to Artzin, the utility from his breach there, just stifling NRG at every turn. Knew exactly when to let that fault line loose as they were trying to get through the garage door. NRG used that first little wave of util, try and flash through, and they're stuck. And then we try to go out top garage, chase him down, and Aftershock, they're stuck. And then immediately after that, MIBR just re-swing into them, farm them with the superior weapons. That was really well played from the MIBR breach, IGL, flex, everything. I mean, this man just does it all for the team.
I really think at this point, this is where, like, if you're hoping for something for NRG, it's the mid-round calling of FNS, especially from positions when you're down a player, because frankly, you have to contact into some parts of this map. You cannot drone yourself onto every line. NRG have really struggled in those situations where they get picked apart, and we've kind of talked about it before, right? In the past, when FNS has actually managed to get his hands on tape of his opponents, NRG have looked very, very good at adapting and crafting a strategy to punish them. That was the case in 2024. In 2025, though, that same alacrity doesn't really seem to be there, or at least it's not evident.
And that does feel like where, again, yeah, that is where their advantage would lie in the past. Coming into this game, you're going into Haven. We just got to see MIBR play 24 full rounds against Cloud9 on this map. This should be prime opportunity to put together a competent attack half. Maybe it can begin out of this timeout.
NRG have not played either of these first two maps in this series in Stage 1. Information would be outdated for their opponents. Doesn't seem to bother MIBR, happy enough to play their own game, as Verno suggested in the pre-game interview.
So you're going to have that standard early recon thrown by Brock to get that A long control. Ethan pushes up, gets the space, and he's just going to gate crash away to the rest of the team, who off of that early pressure are hoping that that will convince MIBR to stay with their eyes peeled towards A, and they can hit into C. All right, perfect drone from Brock. Ospas denied the angle, denied a shot.
That crash comes in, and it's followed up on danger for Ospas. He doesn't have a shorty to work with, apparently. It's getting hot and heavy on the side, but Ethan gets in there. And honestly, that was so standard, so straightforward. Our drone forced the line, get a dart connection, get him with a gate crash.
Yeah, perfect textbook. They keep it simple, execute well, but Artzin wants to throw it all the way for them.
It doesn't seem to matter. Ethan has to come alive in this position, and Artzin slaps him down. This IGL, take him at it into his own hands. And after that, what do you have left as NRG?
And even when they do it all right, it somehow all goes wrong. Artzin, one of the litany of players on MIBR that at any given moment can step up individually, runs in, finds the two-piece. Finesse can't find the trade, then Ethan is isolated on an island back platform. Oh, this is really disastrous.
Does this not just speak to the woes that NRG are suffering? Fundamentally sound. The game plan is there. When it comes to the execution, the raw shooting, the mechanics, the skill expression, they pull up heavily second best in that round.
Let's fucking go, guys.
Bear in
Most
mind,
excited Shannon moment.
NRG started this up 4-0. They won the pistol and the bonus. Since then, only getting 2 rounds to MIBR's 11, who are in more than firm control of the game at this point. Ethan, dimensional drift into A, gets the information, knows that it's just Verno forcing them back, but hey, the rotates, they are here real quick.
I'm back. Committing to this, apparently. No, game crash out, back to Sewer now. MIBR pull off the side entirely, and it's a bait and switch. NRG have headed over to C, and Som is the pioneer.
Yeah, that's a good from the shadows pop. Going to get all of that space for the team as they try to move with some haste through garage, meet up with their Omen Som, who has just been the star of this team in Stage 1. Maybe this is where he can come to life as the Armageddon is coming through. A retake flooding in.
Tom has to move. He's having a sidestep there out of that. Mata is going to be back to back with him. Ethan for one. There's 3 players for MIBR grouped up inside the smoke, and Brock is able to take down the emergent ones. Artazine and Shannon both fall. It's even now numbers-wise, but MIBR are no further onto the site than they started. The silver lining, there's no plant yet.
Verno's still just waiting to use those salvos. There's no plant because Brock doesn't want to commit just yet. Going to Zia, he's too sharp. He is the Brazilian headshot machine.
What is he supposed to do here?
And this is where Brock thrives. He is known to be a clutch demon.
2 kills for the round already for Brock. He's caught Zia low. 31 health. Verno has to finish the job. And I think there was a bit of venom in that one. Pleased as punch.
Just a wry little cheeky smile from Verno.
How do you like me now?
Brock thinking that he had already committed further right. Can't blame him for that, but it's the swing from Spawn catches him totally unaware. Verno's going to take his sweet time with this defuse.
Oh, buddy, winning the clutch against, I guess, his closest contemporary, right?
Oh, yeah, the two star initiator players of Challengers America for so long.
NRG went straight to that well. They were like, get me number 1. When that didn't work, get me number 2. And then Verno decides to probably produce a number 2.
It is such a classic, atypical sports media thing to ask are you going to go extra hard today because you're playing against your old team?
You like that play, Cortez?
And in this case, I feel like it's right, though. I'm not going to lie. This guy's going crazy.
Is he taunting Cortezia because he's not top fragging? Bro. Nothing like a bit of friendly competition, I guess. I don't know how friendly it is between these two now, but hey. Might not see much more of this map anyway. It's NRG already clambering over the C site, but it's camera in that corner. MIBR can play off of that.
Early Rolling Thunder coming through. Oh, what a shot. NRG, they want to fight them before that all could come in.
Cortezia just descends. Up and the shorty got involved, and now he's working the backside. 3 left here for NRG, and MIBR still chomping at the bit to get their hands dirty. Mana falls. Senum's able to find him now. All from backside. They emerge, and not even FNS could keep it alive. 22-7 for Verno against the team that did away with him. Said he doesn't communicate enough for our liking. How about this? Onto a fully Brazilian roster, trust placed in him to fit in, to assimilate. I'll tell you what, he's leading the charge now.